Okay, so now that you understand the value of link aggregation control protocol, now let's talk about the enhancement in vSphere 5.5. As you'll remember, with 5.1, what I could do is take a group of uplinks and just turn them into a link aggregation group, but it was kind of an all or nothing thing. And I could only have one on a vSphere distributed switch. But as you can see, there's a lot of value in being able to use multiple links so that if one link fails, the other one is still there. So what we're going to do now is look at a switch that was born as a vSphere 5.5 switch. This switch, which I've named D-Switch 55, was actually born as a 5.5 switch. So you'll notice that it has something on here that the other one didn't. Notice it says LACP here. As a matter of fact, I'll go back to the other one for just a second, and you can see that it's not there. If I go back to this one, the selection is there. If I click on LACP, I can create link aggregation groups, LAGs. So what am I going to do with the LAGs? Well, I want to show you the topology of this switch first, and I want you to see what's going on here. What we've got is uplink 3, which is the active uplink, and then uplink 4, which is a standby uplink. So that if uplink 3 should fail, then uplink 4 can come to the rescue. But there's still a chance that those virtual machines that are on this port group are going to lose their connection. What I'd really like to have is a double powerful link that actually controls multiple VM NICs, so that if one fails, then the other one can come to its rescue and it's already there. Not an active standby thing, but a link aggregated group. Now again, I'm only showing you one side of this, and you have to make sure that the physical switches that these are connected to are also set, and you have to take into account things like speed and duplex. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this from where it's using uplink 3 and 4 to where it's using a link aggregated group. And we're going to do it hot with the virtual machines running, so that we don't have any disruption in service while we're doing this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come over here and click on LACP, and I'm going to click on the green plus sign. And this is where I can add a new link aggregation group. And you know me, I'm just going to leave the name lag1. That's fine for me. And the number of ports is 2. That's fine. And then the mode, that would depend on how your physical switches are set, but I'm just going to leave mine as passive, and I'm going to click on OK. And you'll see that it's creating lag1. So now I've got lag1 created, so now I can begin to use it. So now if I go back to the topology, you'll see that it knows about lag1, but it's not connected to it. No surprise there, right? There's really nothing to connect to. Lag1 only exists in a virtual sense at this point. There aren't really any VM NICs that are associated with lag1. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get lag1 ready to go. So I'm going to go into the properties of the port group called dport group here. I'm going to go into their policies and click on edit. You could also just right click on the port group and go to edit settings. And I'm going to go to teaming and failover. And notice that lag1 is right here. I'm going to click on lag1. I'm going to move it on up to the standby links. Now, if I were to just leave it there, just like that, and let uplink 4 also be standby, I would get an error, because you're not allowed to mix them like that. In fact, I'm going to click OK and show you. See, it says mixing lags and standalone hosts is not supported. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click OK here, and I'm going to take uplink 4 out temporarily while I do this. Now the system is going to give me a warning when I click on OK, saying, I hope you know what you're doing, and I hope you're in the middle of something, right? Using this combination should be just intermediate configuration, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to click on OK. Now, lag 1 is in standby, but it doesn't have any vMNICs associated with it. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the switch, and I'm going to click on Manage Hosts. And I'm going to click on Manage Host Networking. And Next. Click on Attached Hosts. And then I'm going to select both hosts. Click OK. Next. And I'm going to manage physical adapters. Next. Now, what I want to do is I want to move vMNICs 4 and 5 from uplinks 3 and 4 to the lag ports. So, I'm going to assign the uplink. I'm going to assign lag 1, the first part of that, to vMNIC 4. Lag 1-1, the second part of that lag. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, on both hosts. Now, at this point you might be a little bit scared if you actually had virtual machines running. So you might want to know whether this is really going to affect anything. You know, in other words, am I going to be in trouble when I do this? And when you click on Next, the system will do a check, and it'll say, what is this going to happen? This is a review of the impact that this configuration change might have. And it says, you're doing okay. No impact. You're doing it the way the best practices say to do it. And so I'm going to click on Next. I'm going to click on Finish. Now watch the topology. Notice that Manage Host Networking is doing its thing, and it's done. And now I've got actually a hot connection on lag 1. But I'm not forcing the system to use it yet for that port group. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the port group settings, into the policies, and I'm going to go to teaming and failover, and I'm going to move lag 1 up to active links, and I'm going to move the last uplink down to unused. So now it doesn't have any choice. It's going to use lag 1, which has those 2 vMNICs associated with it. So you can see that now. I'm going to go back to the switch and look at the topology, and you'll see that now it's using lag 1. Isn't that slick? And the thing is, now with vSphere 5.5 you can have separate lags associated to separate port groups. And so you can imagine how you might use that for your own organization. So as you can see, we've done a lot of things that you couldn't do before, but we're not done. We're going to talk about one called traffic filtering and marking next.